Hey everybody, Aaron Dugan here from Labyrinth Therapeutic Services, and
Catalani, also from Labyrinth Therapeutic Services, I suppose.
yeah,
And Out of the Woods, the NTR. I don't know which one I'm supposed to say.
and counseling services.
No, because then you're going to give me shit for how long the name is.
Um, so we're still, building what we're building and doing what we're doing, and just getting used to the fact that we're talking to a camera and a screen and staring at ourselves and trying to
I'm trying really hard not to.
do this
Looking
thing.
at you.
Well, the camera's over there, so
I know.
hi people that aren't there yet because you're just a camera, but so much more than that. Anyways, we're really just horrible about having I don't know what, the habit of talking about things that matter, uh, you know, in our lives, in our mission, what we're doing, I guess when they're happening or whatever. It'll be like a year later, like, what would have been really awesome is we should have talked about that.
That
Like,
thing.
I'm guilty of so often just doing it. I send it 24/7. I have a horrible, horrible, horrible habit of A, not asking for help, and B, not even like telling people what I'm doing. I just move in a direction, and the people that are affected directly by that movement see and hear and feel what's being done, but the rest of y'all don't.
I think it's hard too, because like when you're out doing stuff for Labyrinth, you're not on your phone. Like your phone's just nowhere in sight. You're talking to people, you're moving about. Like, so I think it's one of those things. Like it's hard to be in the moment and be present and be talking to all of these people and doing all these things, and then still reminding yourself like, let me whip out my
Yeah,
phone and like take this picture or anything like that. Like I think about even when we went to Vet Fest. Like, I mean, I went to text you to be like, hey, I'm trying to wrangle a toddler near a petting zoo, and like knowing you weren't going to see that message, so you were like at home.
yeah,
So I think that's like a piece of it too, where it's like you very much like live in that moment of what you're doing, and so the idea of posting it or taking photos or anything like that is just not anywhere near the forefront, you know.
yeah. And I mean, half of that is my own fault because I only have so much mental capacity during the day, and I can't do the phone thing and the picture thing and the post thing and all of the other thingy things. While trying to be in the moment, like I can do one or the
Yeah.
other, but I'll be sitting there, and when I'm trying to do both, I'll be sitting there like present but not present, if
Right.
that makes any sense at all. And and then it'll be like 30 seconds into something and be like, oh, were you talking to me?
Well, and that's what I mean. It's like I feel like when you're doing Labyrinth stuff, your brain is focused on being in the moment
Yeah,
because that's where your brain wants to be, you know?
yeah. So if anybody out there wants to be like my paparazzi intern for the summer, we'll call it a social media internship. I don't know, marketing. Any marketing students that want an internship for the
Yikes.
summer, just let me know. I could be your pet project. I know for my undergrad, I had to do an internship, and
I did too.
so any
Yeah.
y'all business majors out there floating around that just
Godspeed.
want to be cool and literally have basically free reign and a really great internship reference,
Want
hit
to
me up.
wrangle
A me,
dumpster squirrel.
an oversized child.
Dumpster squirrel.
Yeah, it could be fun.
I think there would be growth opportunities for you.
I feel attacked. But also it could be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You could experience. You could probably write a book, honestly, by the end of the summer of just like, I don't know. There'll be some there'll be some disclosure waivers, like non-disclosure forms you'll have to sign.
Mm-hmm.
You write a book, The Inner Workings of a Madman, or something. I don't know. It's probably already out there.
Written.
Yeah, it's already written somewhere.
Like
No, but seriously though, anybody that's absolutely bored out of their minds and has nothing better to do than come work for free as an intern, by all means, hit me up or Cat up or whoever, and we would love to have somebody to follow along with their shenanigans. It could be fun. I've got GoPros, drones, microphones, webcams, video editing. I can't even right now. Video editing stuff. And you could follow along, do some horseback riding, do some hiking, swimming, gold panning, camping. Who knows? It would be a hell of a summer adventure. So anyways, if you're interested and want to get in on our insanity, just sign right up. We'd love to have you.
First come, first serve. So, make sure you get your apps in real early.
That's just not nice.
I would follow you around for the summer.
Yeah, part of your resume is you're going to have to know how to GoPro because I'm not very good with those things. So
are you saying that disqualifies me?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. If you don't know GoPro,
I can figure it out.
You're gonna have to learn.
I could have figured it out. You've never let me try.
Yeah. Listen, I'm also guilty of the just push buttons until it works thing, and I've done really well with that approach.
Gotten very far in life.
But also back to I have this much extra mental capacity to do anything. And the last thing I need is to try to explain to someone how to do the thing that I don't understand how to do. It just doesn't work well. So preferably whoever decides, if someone decides they want to be my summer intern, YouTube how to run the GoPro thing in Mahoozy. I'm pretty okay with it. All right. So anyways, we've had a million things going on. At some point we'll do a podcast about, what? About life in general. About last year, 2025, was a heck of a year. Why don't we just jump into it? It doesn't matter. So back to, I am horrible at really talking about anything we do. I just don't know if I took the Marine Corps silent professional thing and ran with it or what, but I am the absolute worst when it comes to like tooting our own horn and bragging about what we do. And I think that's exactly it. It feels like it's bragging to me. It feels like it's boastful, and it just isn't really my strong suit. I don't do well bragging about myself. I'll brag about anybody else and everybody else, but I do not do well talking about my own accomplishments. So that's, probably a me problem that I should talk to somebody about.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. But last summer we had a heck of a year. Our first event we did as Labyrinth officially was the family weekend with the Sugar Shack over to Fellstone Maple. My sister and her husband, so Angela and Dawn, hosted us for a veteran first responder family peer day the weekend before New Hampshire Maple weekend. We got to be there for the first boil. We literally handed out like fresh off the filter maple syrups to first responders that came there, so they were like still warm and amazing. And then they had their shop open and sold a bunch of donuts and whatever else, and I think I cooked a bunch of hot dogs and burgers and whatever else.
Oh my god, are they gonna have the barbecue maple sauce?
Yes, they'll have the barbecue maple sauce.
You need to make sure you bring that back.
Yeah, I only got like a couple bottles of the barbecue maple sauce and
just whatever they have.
Yeah, it was all gone. So anyways, that's coming up in a couple of weeks, actually, really the second week of next month.
I'm just daydreaming.
So the 14th of March. And as per usual, that was just scheduled, last night. So here we are, 2.5 weeks out, and they're still tapping trees, and we're planning events at their facility. So, just is what it is. It's a wicked sweet Sugar Shack. It's like the Taj Mahal of Sugar Shacks. I got to actually help out a little bit with some of the carpentry over there, and really it was an awesome excuse to get to spend more time with Stony Don, who I don't get enough time with, and so that was a fun way to hang out with him and his neighbor Marcus, who is also cute little puppy dog Brutus. So yeah, anyways, that's coming up in a couple weeks, and then we did
9 to 2. 10 to 2.
10 to 2.
10 to 2.
And then we did a bunch of stuff with Mountain Lane Farm. I don't know why. Listen, it's 9:45 at night right now. We've been up since 6 with kids. So in case anybody was wondering what our lives look like, it's this. Right now, between right now and whenever we pass out, which based on the bags under our eyes probably should have been an hour ago. Yeah, you got them to it. I can just see mine better. This is our time. This is what we get. We get about an hour and a half before someone's snoring, if that, to spend time together and do everything that we needed to do all day, week, month, each day. So welcome to our insanity. Welcome to the life of us.
This is us.
This is us. So we did axe throwing, which I assumed would have a better turnout, and it was pretty much a flop.
The biggest surprise of last year was like us really thinking like the horseback riding was going to be a hard sell, because people would have to take a whole day, drive out to Temple, which is not necessarily like super conveniently located for most places in New Hampshire.
I mean, we have guys now driving like 3 hours to get there.
Well, right, but like when we initially created it.
Thank you for your dedication 100%. To what we're doing, because that's awesome.
Well, they showed up.
He's been like I think 3 times now, right? Like 2 for our events and one bonus
one
day in the
his
middle.
Own. But yeah, like I think it was just like the thought process was the horseback riding was going to be really hard, and the axe throwing was going to be like the easy. Like we literally were like, it could be like a weekly thing. It's going to be so easy. Yeah. People are going to be like,
it's fast, easy. It was a couple hour time commitment.
Lanes. Yeah. Like
we thought we were gonna we literally met with the owner, and we thought we were gonna shut down. I love that guy. They're really great people over at Axel's Throw House in Nashville, New Hampshire. We literally anticipated shutting down half of the throw house just for Labyrinth stuff, and that I think we got to the point we literally had to bribe friends to come.
But we got to hang out with Red Thunder. So.
We got to hang out with Red Thunder. So we did axe throwing, a lot of axe throwing. We're like axe throwing professionals now.
I'm pretty good.
Kat's pretty good. And then we did horseback riding, which was amazing, absolutely amazing. It's on the schedule again for this year. We haven't really done anything with the axe throwing. We've not had time, really. I mean, here we are. We don't have time, and it wasn't a super sellout event at all. And so that's just kind of back burner. Would love to get back into it if there's interest. So, if there's interest, let us know. What else did we do? We did some gold panning events. We did some hiking stuff. We did some hunting stuff. We did some fishing stuff. Basically did a bunch of stuff. Built our network.
Big Nick's Ride.
We did Big Nick's Ride. That was amazing. And then, fast forward to this year. Well, I guess, no, so let's go still back. We had some really, really awesome donors, close friends of ours, Josh's Boots, who we met through Big Nick's Ride, and Amanda, the president of Josh's Boots, contacted me and said, hey, we would like to give you guys a grant or donation, whatever we want to call it. And so they gave us $1,600 in the fall, which was huge. I think that was our largest single donation up to that point. That didn't come from my business.
I think that is our largest donation.
Single largest donation.
The SWAM thing is a grant, not a donation. Aren't they technically different?
What?
The SWAM grant was more than that, but it's a grant, not a donation.
Right. Well, yeah.
They're technically different, right?
But up to that point, that was the single largest donation.
Well, I'm saying it still is the largest donation. Right?
Sure. Either way, grant or not, It was at the time the single largest donation we had. And then they followed up and gave another $400 right in December. So thank you, Josh's Boots, Amanda. You all are awesome, and we appreciate that because that made a difference. Truly did. And then we applied for the Swim with the Mission grant, so the SWAM grant, to help cover the costs of some of our horseback riding stuff this coming year, and we were awarded $2,500 from them that we got in December that goes towards our riding stuff this year. And then we've had a bunch of individual donations. We've been selling a little bit of merch, not really as much as I would have liked to sell or want to sell, but I get it. Life's expensive. It's really cool merch, though. I mean, we got cool logos, and it's comfy and warm, and
we have black.
That's not even on there.
It should be.
Should be.
You'd sell it.
It's
everybody likes black.
So yeah, if y'all have like specific merch requests that you would like to have with our logo on it, just let me know so I can add to that. We did a bunch of merch. Like I made so much merch last year for a bunch of other businesses. I made a mountain of it for your business, Out of the Woods. I made 2 mountains of it for Ruggles Mine over in Grafton, New Hampshire, our largest merch customer of 2025. There was some hilarious shenanigans going back and forth about that. Joe over at Ruggles Mine, the owner over there, had done a merch order, and then Kat had to do a bigger order. And so she was so proud that she had the largest merch order of the year. And so I was on site over at Ruggles Mine building a couple 20 by 40 pavilions, which are mostly done. And they're, like you say, 20 by 40, and you're like, man, they're freaking massive. They're all 8 by 8 hemlock rough sawn construction, and then 2 by 10s or whatever for rafters between the 8 by 8 trusses, and they're just absolute monster structures.
Like you just spoke Mandarin to me.
Yeah. Anyways, so those I did a couple live streams or whatever, freezing to death in the fall, so we pulled the plug on that for the season. Those were supposed to have taken like a month, and then just life repeatedly did the life thing. And I always joke that there should be like a reel of like insert foot and mouth moments where I'm like, yeah, there's no way this won't happen, and then like literally the exact no way it could possibly happen happens. And I've gotten to the point now, I used to get upset, like really upset about it. Now I'm just like, bad universe, bad.
The universe will hold my beer.
Very bad beer.
Mm-hmm.
And universe. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we'll finish that up in the spring and move on with that. But anyways, Joe basically took Kat's cute merch order and said, watch this, and doubled down. So yeah, Ruggles Mine, Grafton, New Hampshire. You guys are definitely the #1 merch customer of 2025. Out of the Woods, you get the silver trophy. Real close. It was an honest effort. Mm-hmm. And then, moving on into this year, we've got horseback riding scheduled, Sugar Shack events scheduled. There's a pile of events that are in the works that I just don't want to announce and then have the whole, hey, we're going to do this thing, and then insert foot and mouth moments. So when they're set in stone, literal stone,
6 months later, we'll tell you about it.
We will let you know when we're good and ready. Damn it.
When it's already happened.
No. I will let you know. Oh, mm-hmm. Speaking of, the sign up links are now live for horseback riding on our website. Also, fun fact, the entire time that I thought that our merch link to buy our merch was on our website, it was not. So there's 2 links now on our website. One is to buy merch. The other is if your business would like us to make merch, and you can join in on the friendly competition between merch customers to see who can get the biggest merch order of the year. And I should make like a 2025 champion, like
No,
custom shirt.
that's old news. We move on to 2026.
Joe, I've got you. I'm gonna
Joe
make
doesn't
you.
need any of that.
I'm gonna make you a 2025 like the championship, like those fancy little like golf jackets. I'm gonna do something fancy like that, like 2025 merch champion of the year. And I'll get you a purple one. This is runner up.
I don't want a purple one.
It's the participant ribbon.
Make mine black.
So, anyways, moving on. Dawn over at Ragged Edge Lures. I've known him since, gosh, I don't even know how old I was. I was toddling around Ragged Mountain. He's a veteran as well. Reached out and we connected, actually based off of a Facebook post, and he had a comment on there about his service, and so I zapped him a message and was like, just, I need you to know that, like, whether or not your service was combat service or peacetime service, you still served when 97% of the nation didn't have balls to do so. And so don't take away from what you've done and your sacrifices you've made for our country, our freedom, that other people haven't done. And so I don't even know. I mean, that conversation progressed so rapidly. By the end of it, I think we chatted a little bit about doing like figuring out a bass tournament or whatever else. If anybody out there wants to like do a bass tournament with us, that's in the works. Back to the things that I'm trying to do that I wasn't going to talk about. But Dawn made 20 lures, sold them at $25 a piece.
I feel like made does not do it justice.
Dawn didn't. Well, let's go back.
Like,
Dawn didn't make the lures.
He did some work on those.
And Dawn is very adamant about making sure people understand the difference between what he does, because there's just like every other industry out there, there's like the industry snobs, right? So Dawn doesn't make the lures. Dawn buys blanks of the lures, and then Dawn hand paints them. And when I say hand paint, I mean like
hand paint.
Hand paint.
Not like AI generated hand paint, like full blown hand.
Well, no, he doesn't paint his hand, but he hand. I'll drop the link in the description somewhere, but I'm going to pause for like 5 seconds, and I'm actually going to grab one of the lures and you can see them. Okay, I'm back. We're talking about lures. Hopefully I didn't just lose that whole other recording clip, but if I did, I did. And we'll just figure that out as we go. So we're talking about fishing lures that John made. And these are them. He didn't make them. Again, Dawn hand paints these. And so, I mean, you can see it. It's absolutely gorgeous. So there's this little logo on the bottom, and then the Labyrinth logo on the top. If I can get it far enough back. The camera's not the best camera in the world. The logo looks similar to this thing. If you're watching this video, you already know what the logo looks like. So anyways, Dawn hand painted these things. They came out gorgeous. He did 20, and they sold in 48 hours. So he did another 20. And I think he had, last I checked, like 2 or 3 left, if that. And so they're about to be a thing you can't get, limited run, if they're not already gone. So by the time this gets on the internet tonight, tomorrow, whenever, might already be gone. But with that, Dawn has launched a competition for another lure he made. That's he's named Sergeant Smallmouth, and it's like a really cool, like, articulating lure. And so basically, anybody that's bought one of these lures and catches a fish, and gets us a good picture of said fish with lure, in the mouth. Don't catch the fish on a different lure and then like try to pretend this is the lure. Like take the take the picture with the lure and the fish, and zap it to me and Don, me and Don. My preference is you tag us on Facebook, honestly, and then message it to them, because the more you're tagging and sharing, the more the world just hears and sees our message.
And then we don't have to do it.
And then we don't have to do it. So, anyways, Don has created this fishing competition amongst some of my best friends. Some of my favorite people in the world have all bought these lures, which is amazing anyway, because they're all literally all the people I fish with and hunt with, and if I have a day to go do anything with anybody, it's with pretty much one of the individuals that bought a lure. So if you bought a lure, you're on the cool person list. But Don's got that competition going, and then there's some absolutely hilarious trash talk going on in the comment threads on his posts about that. So if you haven't yet followed Don over at Ragged Edge Lure Works, go ahead and follow him. If you haven't followed Out of the Woods EMDR and Counseling Services on Facebook, go follow her. Ruggles Mine in Grafton, New Hampshire, they're also on Facebook. Go follow them. Josh's Boots, they're on Facebook. Follow them as well. Let's see. Our third biggest merch person from last year was Holy Mackerel Fishing Charters. Jeff and Tiff also have lures, I believe. Some of my favorite people to hunt and fish with. More to come with that, but we're not going to do the insert foot and mouth thing, but there's more to come with that. We'll just say it. There is the potential that we're going to have a couple chartered fishing days on the Holy Mackerel with Jeff and Tiff. So that's in the works. I still have to, it's basically a yes. We have to hammer out dates. And if any of y'all know me, which most of y'all might know me, I'm horrible at that. So, Tiffany, when you see this, just put a couple dates in the calendar and tell us when we're going on the boat.
Just message me.
Just message the boss, as well as anybody else. If you're trying to schedule something with us as an event,
this face, I have the calendar.
I've learned now to push the add to calendar button on the phone, but again,
you do it wrong every time.
Not great at it.
I don't know what calendar you're putting it on.
I don't either.
Every time you're like, I put it on the calendar, it's never there. Ever.
It might be there.
It's not.
It's considered being there.
It identifies as being there.
Yeah. So let's see.
That was funny.
But yeah, so anyways, Holy Mackerel is actually Holy Mackerel, and then so it's Jeff and Tiffany, and then Bright Idea Electric is Jeffrey's electric company. So both of them are kind of tied for third place in the merch orders. So they've got.
And then Hunt to Haas Music.
And then Hunt to Haas. I did a bunch of cool stuff. Hunt is on my board of directors. And
the voice like Sarah McLachlan.
More to come on that too. Listen, you can't give all the Easter. You can't just give all the teasers
that was an
out there.
Easter egg.
And that was an Easter
egg.
Like
years from now, people will be like, "Oh my god!" I'm like Taylor Swift.
Hopefully, months from now. No.
Rude.
So, anyways, the whole purpose of hopping on here now is kind of to talk about some of the stuff we've done. I struggled with the end of the year. Everybody and their cousin was posting out, hey, we've done all these great things, and I twice made a huge post about all of the great things we've done, and I had data to back it up and analytics and this. It felt like I was bragging, and I chose not to do that, and so I didn't do that, and so here we are. We've done some great things. We'll hopefully keep going with what we're doing. And keep doing, great new programming. We spend a lot of time on peer events, and that's for a reason, because it works. It gives us, most of us, it gives us that sense of camaraderie and family and fellowship that we lost when we got out of the military. I say Marine Corps all the time because that was for me personally. And I felt like I lost my tribe, and that's hard to find again. And so a lot of the peer stuff we do is exactly that. All winter long, though, our peer stuff has been on hold, but that doesn't mean that the mental health half of what we do is on hold at all. Actually, as a matter of fact, that half is ramped up, as it typically does anyway. But and I don't talk about that part a lot, and for multiple reasons. One, I think that everybody's health and healing journey is their own, and so I will never, ever, ever, ever be like, yeah, we're sponsoring that person for therapy. It'll never happen. I can't do that. For a billion reasons. It's like a gray shady area as far as like HIPAA stuff goes. I won't do that. I can't do that. But I will tell you that we are sponsoring a bunch of vets and first responders. We've connected a bunch of vets and first responders that we aren't sponsoring, that are using their own insurance or whatever else, to providers. They're getting great care with people that we know and trust and would see ourselves. And that's all I'll say with that. But that half of what we do is alive and well. I just don't talk about it. I don't talk about anything we do, clearly, until now. But yeah, so that half, well, I may not talk about it a lot, is up and running. It's been running. There was a need for someone that didn't suck at their job for med management, because let's face it, as much as we all hate meds, there comes a time, and there's a time and place for medication, right? And that's like one of those like, ooh, don't talk about meds. I get it, right? But there is a time and place for all of those things, and whether it's managing your vitamins or your sleep or whatever else, there's a very, very, very clinically appropriate time for all of those things. And so we scoured the earth for a provider that would actually listen to vets and first responders when they have needs. And I say this without hesitation that, the people that I am referring people to, I would personally use myself. And the med provider that we scoured the earth for is quite literally was my primary care physician at the VA. The VA ruined her.
They dropped a 10 out of 10.
They made her life not fun.
But we scooped the shit out of her.
And so instead of the community losing a great provider, we went out of our way to try to pull her in under CAT's umbrella. So Out of the Woods EMDR and Counseling Services has Amy Doyle, who is she's
10 out of 10.
She's a 10 out of 10. Feels weird if I say it.
That is weird for you to say, but I can say it.
She's really actually truly good at what she does. She's the first provider I have found while she was at the VA system that had a set of ears attached to her head. The rest of them have them, but they don't work. Hers are plugged in and she listens. And she carries that energy and compassion and care forward into what she's doing now. It's not a great secret that I traditionally have hated therapists. I just like most of us hate medication. And a lot of that stuff, if you've watched any that we did a co-podcast thing, we were hosted on the Veritable Veterans podcast. So there's like a couple episodes called Standing in the Gap with Kat and Aaron, I think. But we talked about our story in our meeting, and when Kat and I met, I think it was like one of the second or third thing. It was the first 10 things I said to her was
like top 3.
Like, I hate therapists. I just need you to know that.
Internet security sucked. I hate therapists. That's
yeah. So it was the second thing. Because I did. And honestly, there's a bunch that I still hate, because there's a bunch of therapists that should see a therapist, really. Yeah, but
it's okay.
There's a few that actually are good at what they do. And so I went from I hate therapists to maybe that one's not that bad. And so Kat literally changed my opinion on therapists and how they all are. And so now I am a firm believer that there might be a small cluster of therapists in the region that are A, good at what they do, B, compassionate and caring about vets and first responders in particular, which is like, you feel like a hated demographic, and then you go for help and you feel like the person that's supposed to be helping you hates you. It really doesn't help anything. And so Kat and her crew over at Out of the Woods are the exception to the rule. And so as often as we can, for two reasons, we try to send referrals towards Kat. One, because if I was to see a therapist, it like literally would be Kat. She, in my own personal humble opinion, is the best at what she does with our demographic. I'm what?
You're gonna make me blush.
Okay, well, you're welcome. Unfortunately, I can't even see her. Like, I see her.
You get to see me every day.
Yeah.
All day. And when I become your social media intern, you get to see me even more.
Mm-hmm. I have really like dark humor joke of like, you know, maybe, yeah, never mind. I'll just
save it.
Yeah.
Just picture.
Someone help. What is the hand signal? Like, help me.
That just looks like you're waving, like you're just having so much fun. You're like,
yeah. Anyways, so when I say I have found people that I would personally see for services, I'm not kidding. I will literally do whatever it takes to try to find them and then acquire them. And right now, the vessel for doing that is Out of the Woods. Again, for two reasons. One, contrary to popular belief, there is not a lot of money floating around in the world for nonprofits. And quite often, I can't pay the bill when it comes to the therapy side. And so quite often that bill gets floated by Kat and her business. And I haven't found another business out there that would even consider doing that, because everybody's got to eat. And so, you know, if anybody's out there wondering why does Out of the Woods keep getting all of the Labyrinth referrals, well, because Out of the Woods is seeing most of the Labyrinth referrals mostly for free until I catch up with money through fundraising, and then I pay her in big chunks for, you know, the thousands and thousands of dollars worth of services she's actually already provided for the people we're sponsoring. So that's why. But also, I am stacking her practice with providers that are good at what they do. So, yeah, Amy's like literally one of the good ones, and so there's more to come with that. Hopefully, hi Amy, if you're listening to this or watching this, yeah, Amy's pretty awesome. Hopefully, there's more to come with that sooner than later. So yeah, on to bigger and better things. The reason we decided to hop on tonight is because more often than not, there's stuff that goes on, and I'm like, it would be really cool to, you know, talk about that, and then we forget, we're only human, and by the time we get to it, I've already managed to process the feels, and so I wanted to do it a little bit differently this time, and actually, like, usually Kat and I will, like, over the course of like a week or so of me like feeling a feel, we slowly unpack it just through conversation and whatever else. Yes. Yeah, and so the running joke between myself and my good buddy Hackett over at Ren Arms or on the Hunt Veteran Strong, he and I usually joke back and forth. He's a Marine veteran as well, and usually the running joke is that we're so messed up that we had to go find therapists to have as wives to put up with us. And so, yeah, I can't see Kat as a therapist, but I'm stuck with her 24/7. So,
you're so lucky.
Help me. So,
I'm gonna
so
pretend you didn't
it's
say that.
usually either you should talk to somebody about that, or
I don't say that much.
um or uh or she slowly unpacks things tactfully, where I don't give her the whole "get out of my head, witch." And so one of the bigger reasons why we hopped on tonight was she's not therapisting me, but she's kind of doing like a therapeutic interview type thing with me, because I kind of suck at feelings some days and words more days than often. More days and more often than not. There's the English part of that. Um, but I got a text earlier and said, "Hey, did you get a check we sent you?" And I had um, one of our employees check.
And board member.
Oh, and my board member check the mailbox. And I did, in fact, get a letter. Dawn, thank you for the text, because it's school vacation week here. We spent the first half of the week.
We don't know what day it is.
Exhausted and sick. I do, because it's on the thing over there.
But what day of the week?
Friday.
Oh, that was so fast. You've had that locked in. There's no way if I asked you that 2 hours ago, you would not have known that.
No, it's on my watch too.
That's what it is.
That was pretty good though, because I didn't even have to look down. I just like peripheraled it. Peripheral. Anyways, John, thank you for the text. I got the mail, and in it was a letter from the Cape Cod Foundation, which isn't that it may or may not mean a lot to a lot of people, and so we'll kind of get into the backstory about that a little bit. But basically, when I was in Afghanistan, we took over the southern part of the country, and 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines took some heavy losses. One of those losses we took was a friend of mine, and obviously a Marine brother, Nick Exaros. And I was may as well have been miles away from him when he passed. But civilian terms, it was not that far away. And so Nick passed, and it was years. Gosh, I've only been to, I saw his family at the battalion. Like, we did a huge funeral, basically ceremony for everybody that didn't make it home on that deployment trip. We went on vacation, summer camp, summer vacation 2009.
They did say you'd get to see the world when you signed the paper.
10 out of 10 would not recommend that particular travel company ever again. They were horrible travel
Very
agents.
culty.
Yeah. Anyways, so we did lose a bunch of Marines on that deployment. It was hell. Would be kind of a fragile way of saying it, or an understatement, really. And so I got attached to Echo 28. I'm a infantry mortarman, and so we split our platoon. Half of us went with the convoy pushing down to try to get to where we were going, and the other half of us got attached to Echo and got on the helicopters and were involved in the largest helo-borne invasion since Vietnam. And so we loaded up in a bunch of CH-53s, flew like a 10-minute drive off the Pakistani border, basically, and hopped out. Quite literally for some of us.
There went the
we had a lot of weight on us, whatever, and we did our thing, and eventually, the CAT platoons got down to us, and that was that. But one of the casualties of the fight, and really of that deployment, was Nick, and I didn't know Nick as well as I could have, but I knew Nick well enough. He's not a personality that you could have anywhere near you and not get to know him. And so we, he was only with us for a very short amount of time. He was with 1-9 when we were in Iraq, and Lat moved to 2-8 to go into Afghanistan with us. His best friend was with another unit, part of the brigade, but they ended up south of us. And so actually another board member now, Andrew Colville, was next. He wrote a book.
I was just going to say, where is that?
Probably right here somewhere. Summer of 09.
Summer of 09.
So there's the book. I don't know if it
it's
flips
backwards
around.
Probably, but
it might be backwards on there. But Summer of 09, written by Andrew Colville. He's on my board of directors now as well. But he talks about Nick and his life and his Marine Corps experience and journey, as well as his own.
Well, you found out after the fact when you read that you guys had done like the same.
The mock boot camp.
Yeah.
We were all at the same mock boot camp together.
So it's like
too.
You technically didn't know them, but
didn't know them.
Small world.
But it is a small world. And so, I met Nick's family at that ceremony, and by met I mean I was one of thousands of people that they probably didn't care to even look at that time. And then life happened, and I never got to reconnect with him. And then fast forward a few years, and I was helping out with another nonprofit for one of their events, and they were talking about a state representative that was going to come to the event, and said that his son passed in Afghanistan. And it was one of those click moments. So I was like, well, it's not Steve Exaros, is it? And he's like, yeah, it is. And I'm like, oh, well, I was in country with his son when he passed. I was in, 2-8, same battalion as him. So I got to reconnect with Steve, or really connect for the first time with Steve, a couple of years ago. And that was pretty emotional. And then we got to 2 years ago. So that was after I met Steve. I finally got down for the first time ever to the Big Nick's ride for the Fallen motorcycle ride on the Cape. And so we went down. I went down.
I was gonna say
you didn't even go. It was we had all the kids and everything else, and I literally hopped on the I hit the Harley at the time for I did a bunch of outreach stuff on it and whatever else before we were even a legal nonprofit. We were kind of operating in the fringes of I'm going to do this thing, and we're waiting on paperwork and everything else, and I'm just going to keep going. So I used the Harley for my own personal therapy. Throttle therapy is a thing, and it was a great conversation starter, and I used it to reach a lot of people. So I think it was 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. 4 a.m. Anyways, I hopped on the Harley and ripped down the interstate from southern New Hampshire all the way down to the Cape. It's like a 3.5 hour ride on a normal day. I won't, for legal purposes, tell you how fast I got there, but it wasn't 3 hours. I behaved up until somebody almost ran me off the road, and then I was done behaving because I recognized that when you're on two wheels, there's nothing between you and the car except for thin air, and it's just safer when the only idiots you have to worry about you are the ones you're coming up on, and the rest of them behind you can't catch you. So I made it down there a lot quicker than I planned. But I got there, polished the bike up, fueled it up, whatever, and I had an hour before I was actually meeting at Steve's house to kind of ride into the pre-staging area to meet with the police escort and the jeeps and everything else. And it started raining out, of course. And so, I kind of chuckled a little bit and polished the bike up again. And then it rained again. And I polished the bike again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm just riding. And so off I went to Steve's in, the ride went from there. But then we got to go back again, obviously last year, 2025, we went back and the whole family got to go, which was amazing. Olivia rode on the back of the bike. I sold the Harley and bought an Indian. Um, it's not the Harley.
No.
It's not. But it goes, and it was like a third of the price. So
It's pretty.
it's a pretty Indian. Yeah. So Liv got to ride on the back of the bike, and Kat and the boys got to watch the bikes go by or whatever else, and then meet us at the end and have food, and and then they got to go back to the hotel and hang out in the pool. Well, I hung out and interacted with people there. But long story short, Big Nick's Ride for the Fallen is a fundraising event, and it's not just a fundraising event, but there's a lot of money that comes in from that event that goes back out through the Cape Cod Foundation to a bunch of nonprofits on the Cape. And so for me, I got this letter in the mail, and I'll just read it because I'm just going to read it. But it says, "Dear Mr. Dugan, congratulations. The board of directors of the Cape Cod Foundation has awarded you a grant of $1,000 from the Nicholas G. Exaros Memorial Foundation Fund to be used for general support in memory of fallen U.S. Marine Corporal and native son of Cape Cod, Nicholas G. Exaros, and the Exaros Gold Star family." And so for me, I'm always humbled and grateful when we're given a donation or a grant ever. But I guess for me, this one hits harder just because it's Nick, and so, we always talk about doing the things we do to keep their their memory. That was like a quiver English.
Mm-hmm.
But basically doing what we do to keep their memory alive. And a lot of times that feels like talk. But this one, this is more than talk. This is action. This is Nick standing beside us. Still fighting to keep our brothers and sisters alive. And Nick gave his life for us, and his family's kept his memory alive through the ride. His community's kept his memory alive through the ride. And now Nick's memory is gonna help keep more people alive. And that one just hits harder, I guess. Because it's like he's standing next to me fighting the fight. So yeah, I don't know. That's just huge for me to have another 2-8 brother that didn't make it home, doing work at home or work being done at home in his name. And so to the Cape Cod Foundation, obviously, thank you, and to the Exaros family, and everybody else at Big Nick's Ride. thank you will never be enough. But thanks for keeping my buddy alive. So he can keep fighting next to me. I'm just incredibly humbled to be able to do good in his memory. And hopefully the lives that are touched by Nick's sacrifice and this donation continue to give back and change the world for one person or two people. I mean, if every single one of us changed 2 more lives, would change the world. But thank you guys for your strength and for sticking with it. I mean, they've been at it for 16 years now, and I can't imagine every single year showing that part of your hurt. I don't even know where this thing goes, so I'm gonna figure out now if like this is a thing. I just load this up on the YouTube, or do we
the YouTube?
Or do we like now make our own podcast link on the Spotify? Go to the YouTubes and watch the movies.
The YouTube.
Yes.
Very good.
Duh.
Very good. Very good.
That's my made up accent. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a time.
I'm so glad that I could be here to do nothing.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. It's just very helpful of you.
Well, you made
you patted my arm and
so
made me cry.
You were crying before I pet your arm. That's why I pet your arm in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of my brain, witch.
She does it. That's why you can't see her hands. She was over there casting spells or something. Yeah. She really had an onion she was cutting.
I'm that good.
She's
I don't even have to talk.
Just so y'all are aware. She's a witch.
She's a witch. Was a witch, bro. That will never not be funny. It just
listen,
won't.
You just have that effect. Apparently,
was a witch.
You just make me cry.
We can witch the East.
So, anyways, that's all we've got. Really, this is a really long-winded way of saying thank you to the Cape Cod Foundation and especially more so to the Exaros family and everybody at Big Nick's Ride.
Which is happening in July.
In July.
You should go. It's amazing.
It's not just a motorcycle rider event.
It is not. I was not on a motorcycle.
I am the jackass that used that as the excuse to not go for so many years. Oh, it's a motorcycle event. I don't have a bike. It's a motorcycle event. I don't have a bike. No, I'm just dumb and didn't go. There's a really, 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 really beautiful opening ceremony that is like, you want to be there. And then after the opening ceremony, there like people line, literally it's like right across from the cemetery in Massachusetts, the Veterans Cemetery in Mass. And so it's right at the sheriff's office, whatever.
Through like the guard thing or whatever.
Top secret information.
Yeah.
Don't drive through the National Guard base.
Is that what it is? It's a National Guard base? I didn't know what it was.
Don't drive through.
But it's all, there's like a special way you gotta go to not go that way.
Or you can be special and they let you go places.
Never.
Ever.
Never happened.
So go to the ride. Go to the opening ceremony. Watch it online if you can't go in person. Jim does a great job of like live streaming the whole thing. It gets a little glitchy because service across the Cape is a little rough sometimes. But Jim actually live streams it the whole ride, and he's right in the front of the ride with the flags on his bike.
Businesses at this point have like watch events, so like
watch party signs, like
like these businesses open up their parking lots, their front
Yeah.
lawns, like their doors basically, so people can like camp out to be able to watch the ride, even if you
Yeah.
don't end up,
It
in
is
that
a
end spot
spectator
where the
sport.
rides go.
I 2 years ago when I went, I literally the ride finished. I was in the front few bikes because I was riding with Steve and like the core crew. But the ride finished. I parked. I went and got merch. I gave hugs to everybody that I needed to say hi bye to. Um, and I was literally on the road home, and the motorcycles were still coming into the parking lot. That's how many motorcycles are there.
It's
It
crazy.
is insane. Don't miss it at all. If you're not on a bike, a little insider hint, hint, I would almost try to be at the end point so you could get to the stuff beforehand
That's what I did.
and then like walk down over towards like, somewhere that you could view all the bikes coming in, like,
You don't even need to. You could just sit in your car in the parking lot.
you
So
could sit in
that's
your
what
car
we
in the
did.
parking lot with the air conditioning on.
It was great.
Think smarter. Um,
Actually, I take that back. We were inside the restaurant.
oh, well, yeah. The second,
watching
yeah.
it on the live stream camera from outside, inside at a table by the window.
Yeah. Anyways, it's worth the trip down to the Cape. The Cape's a gorgeous place to be anyway. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go visit the Cape, but in
And I
July,
mean, it is like a community thing. I mean, even like the hotel we were staying at, like everyone at the restaurant downstairs was there for, like, it was like
Cape Cod literally stands behind this ride.
Yeah.
And I was so incredibly humbled and felt so incredibly honored to be um, even just a veteran traveling onto the Cape. All other connections aside, just a veteran going onto the Cape for this event. It changed a lot of opinions and feelings I had about the way the world thinks about us and looks at us, and in that community, that little miniature part of the New England area. Um, there was such an outpouring of love. It was surreal. And so obviously everybody down on the Cape, thank you. Um, distantly, my family, not that distantly actually, my family comes from the Cape as well, and so um, thank you to everybody on the Cape, Cape Cod Foundation, Xaros family. Thank you all for what you do, and obviously the entire Big Nick's Ride family. Um,
such good people.
Yeah, some of my favorite people on the planet that I've met in the last few years are on Cape Cod, and
mm-hmm. Which sucks. This traffic's awful.
yeah. Hey, hurry up and get your dang bridge done, all right? Because listen, there is no tunnel. Insider info. There's no tunnel.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no tunnel. There's like two ways on and off the Cape, and they're not very wide, and it gets busy. But worth going for the ride. I would go for the ride.
Make it a weekend thing.
Make it a weekend thing.
It's always Saturday. No.
I think so. We'll put the link for their event. They're on Facebook. Big Nick's Ride for the Fallen. We put the link on there for everybody. Now that my brain is braining, I'm just gonna go look because
it's the third weekend in July.
It is the third weekend in July. I don't even have it on my phone. I sure don't.
You just pulling it up on Facebook.
Yeah. Sunday, July 19th, 2026.
Third Sunday.
Yeah, be there. It's worth it. You can see my beautiful face. Come ride. Come support an awesome cause. And just experience some really, 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 really moving moments. From the Jeeps with the, pictures of the Fallen 16 off the Cape. To the ride, the speeches, just the outpouring of love across the Cape. It's just an absolutely beautiful, beautiful event, and I would highly recommend you make it. Um, yeah. Anyways, thanks for listening, watching. Follow us, like us, subscribe, do the thing. Buy merch, because who doesn't want merch?
And the link's there now.
The link's on the website. Yay. Um, listen, we try really hard. We're only human.
Nah, I'm a witch.
She's a witch. I'm only human. Thanks for listening. Catch y'all later.